The saying used to be the rich get richer while the poor get poorer. Now it's the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, while the middle class gets wiped out, all because the majority of people don't understand this one thing. What's up everybody, I am Jaspreet Singh from theminoritymindset.com, where money minds rethink rich. There's one concept that the majority of people do not understand that is keeping the majority of people broke, and it's the reason why the poor keep getting poorer, and it's why the middle class is getting wiped out, and it's probably not what you think. Inflation, investing, financial education, all three of these things are very important when it comes to your financial success, and these are three things that the majority of people tend not to understand, but that's not what I'm talking about in today's video. The thing that I want to talk about in today's video is the term fiduciary duty. Now, this might be something you may have heard of, may not have heard of, but this single term right here is why the middle class is being wiped out, because the majority of people do not understand how this term plays an effect on their lives. The first time I learned about the term fiduciary duty was back when I was in law school, because attorneys have a fiduciary duty towards their clients. So if you hire me as your attorney and you give me some confidential information, like you stole some money from somebody, and you tell me this, I'm not supposed to go out and tell the police. I'm supposed to represent you and give you some good legal advice. The whole idea with that is it's supposed to incentivize you to be honest with your attorney. Now, you don't got to worry about doing that with me because I don't practice as an attorney, which is why I am not your attorney. But the reason why this term is so important for you to understand is because you need to understand how this plays effect with how much money you're making. Here's the thing, we live in a society where the majority of people live paycheck to paycheck. The majority of people have virtually no savings, and the majority of people have virtually no investments, and this is where so many people say that they deserve to be paid more money from their company. Walmart and McDonald's make billions of dollars a year in profit. They have the resources and the means to pay their employees a more livable wage, but they don't. You've heard people say this again and again and again. But the thing you need to understand about this is fiduciary duty. This is why so many people end up getting screwed by the system, because they don't understand how this works. Let me show you what I mean. So over here, we have company X, and this company can be Walmart, McDonald's, whatever company you want. And the people that run the company, the people that make the kind of the day-to-day decisions and the big level are your company executives. So I'll put executives here. This is the people like your CEO, your CFOs, your COO, your high company executives. And these are the people that tell your kind of your daily employees, your people that do the cashier, the people that flip the burgers. These are the people that kind of decide how much money these people make. And this is where everyone says, well, the executives and the company are making billions of dollars. How come they don't send some more money out to their employees? Well, what you have to understand is, who are these executives reporting to, right? Who do the executives have a fiduciary duty to? Do they have a fiduciary duty to take care of their employees first? Do they have a fiduciary duty to take care of their customers first? Or who do they have to take care of first? Well, neither of the above. The executives have a fiduciary duty not to their employees. They have a fiduciary duty not to their customers. They have a fiduciary duty over here to their shareholders, the people that own shares of this company. So if this is McDonald's, these are the people that own the McDonald's company, because the people that run McDonald's are different than the people that own McDonald's. The people that own McDonald's are people that own shares in the company. So this might be some of the executives, but the other people that own shares in McDonald's are the big investors in McDonald's. This can also mean people like you if you own shares in the McDonald's stock or the Walmart stock. If you own stock in the company, you are one of the shareholders of the company. Now, the executives have a fiduciary duty to make you, the shareholder, the most money. They don't have a fiduciary duty to pay their employees the most money. This is where everybody gets things confused, and this is why everyone gets upset, because they don't understand how the system works. They say, I'm working so hard for this company, and I'm making this company so much money. How come they don't pay me more money? Well, it's because you have produced a certain value, and now because you have produced that value, this company is making a bigger profit, and this profit goes not just to the executives, but to the shareholders, the people that own the company. And who is the fiduciary duty of the executives to? Well, to the shareholders, not to the employees. And so people say, well, they should pay me more money. Well, that's not how the system works. The fiduciary duty goes to the shareholders. Now, I'm not saying this is right. I'm saying this is how the system works because the majority of people don't understand this. In your newer companies and your startup and growth companies, you see kind of a different dynamic just because people want to have a different company culture. Like in our company, Minority Mindset, we have a different type of structure where when our company makes more money, everybody makes more money because we have a revenue share program, whereas the company grows, everybody grows with it. But in your more traditional companies, this is where so many people end up getting the short end of the stick just because they keep asking for more money and they don't understand why they don't get more money. It's because they don't understand where they lie in this fiduciary duty system. You're over here. The goal for the executives is to drive the most profits for the company, which makes money for the shareholders. It doesn't make money for the employees. And so this is where everyone says, pay us a better wage, pay us a better wage, pay us a better wage, which sure makes sense and it'll make their employees feel good. But a lot of companies are not running a company where executives have the goal of making their employees feel good. A lot of companies are running with the whole idea of executives running a company to make their shareholders the biggest profit. This is where some people make the argument that if executives just paid their employees more, then their employees would have a more livable wage, they'd be happier, they wouldn't have to stress so much, and so they'd be able to do a better job at their work. And if they do that, then the shareholders will ultimately make more money because employees are doing a better job. And yeah, that is a fair argument, and some executives see that, while other executives don't. The reality is that some companies look at their employees just as numbers. I'm not saying this is right, I'm saying this is what happens. And so what they're doing is they're looking at the numbers and they're working to drive as much profits as possible out of their employees. They're trying to squeeze every dime that they can. That way they can bring the most profits up here to the shareholders, which is why I want you to understand how this works. Look, you might not like me for saying this, but I'm not the one who made the system. I'm just telling you how it works. That way you can understand why the majority of people in the middle class are getting wiped out because they don't understand how the system works. They're on the losing side of the equation because they keep thinking that executives are going to run the company in a way to make them feel good, but executives have a different goal in mind. Their goal is to make shareholders rich, not to make the employees rich. And so this is where you got to understand the dynamic and understand what's going on. That way you can make decisions that will make yourself rich. So how do you do that? Well, you are right here, but you also want to be here. You also want to be on the shareholder side of things because now when you are the owner of production, you own the means of value creation, now you are also on the winning side of things because now you own the companies where these executives are driving the profits. So if you're an employee somewhere, how can you do that? How can you be one of the people that owns the means of production? That way you can benefit from the system. Well, for one, you can start by smashing the thumbs up button below and hitting the subscribe button because this is what we talk about all the time on our YouTube channel. But this is where you want to be a shareholder. You want to own a piece of the companies that you like. The simplest way to do that is to use your money to buy stocks in companies that you like on the stock market. Like you can use your money to go out and buy shares in McDonald's and Walmart and Chipotle and Lululemon and Apple and Amazon, whatever companies you like. You can use your money. So now you're working as an employee. You can take your money, put it in the stock market to buy shares in these companies. Now, when you buy one share of the McDonald's company, you are one of the owners of the McDonald's corporation. So now you started off here, and when you buy one share of the company, you end up here. Now you are one of the shareholders. When you work at the company, you're right here. You're helping to produce value, which makes the shareholders rich. Now what you also want to do is you want to take your money here. That way you can also be one of the people that are benefiting from the profits of the company. The only way you can do that is if you're one of the owners of the company. The way you do that is by buying some of the shares of this company on the stock market. If you're not familiar with how to do that, our team put together an amazing article that walks you through investing in the stock market, how to find a stock brokerage, and how it all works. If you want to read the article, I'll link it for you in the description below, and it's on our website, theminoritymindset.com. The second thing you can do is work to improve your skills. That way you can start working for one of the smaller kind of startup companies where you get paid not just a salary, but maybe you get a revenue share bonus, or you get some equity in the company. That way, as the company makes more money, you get a piece of the pie as well, because now you're working to grab some of this. You're working to grab some of the profits. So you got your salary, but now as the company makes more money, so do you. Option number 3 is you can go out and you can start your own company, because now when you do that, you own 100% of this new company that you started. But it's not for everybody. I know they make it seem very easy on the internet, where starting a company is a breeze. But starting a company and building a sustainable business is not easy, it's not for everyone, and it requires a lot of work. Now that you understand how the system works, let me explain why the rich will continue to get richer, the poor will get poorer, and the middle class will get wiped out, because this is kind of just the foundation for why that happens. The rich are the people that own the means of production. They are these people right here, shareholders. It all starts with a mindset, because anybody can own the means of production by owning shares in companies. But when people talk about the rich, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about asset owners. They're talking about the investors. They're talking about the shareholders. So rich people own the means of production, while the middle class are your high income earners and your poor are your low income earners. And so now what's happening is we are entering a society where our dollars are being devalued. The government is working with the Federal Reserve Bank to print dollars on command, and the value of our dollars are dropping like a rock. And so what's happening? Now, your middle class earners and your poor people who are earning these dollars, working very hard to save money, who think they're doing the right thing, are becoming poorer and poorer, because the dollars you're working so hard to earn and the dollars you're working so hard to save are not having as much buying power, and they don't stretch as far. And so now when you want to go grocery shopping, or you want to go on a vacation, or you want to buy a nice gift for your spouse, you need more dollars in order to do that, because your dollars don't have as much buying power as it did before. So now you're working really hard to earn this paycheck, and you're working really hard to save this money, but your dollars aren't as strong as they were, and they don't have as much buying power. But at the same time, the rich continue to become richer, because the rich own the means of production. And so now, as more dollars are printed and they're entering our economic circulation, whether it's through stimulus programs or bailouts or stimulus checks or whatever, the government and the Federal Reserve Bank create this money, they inject it into our system, and where does that money go? Well, it goes into the hands of companies, because even if you get a stimulus check, or even if this money goes to businesses, this money eventually will either stay at businesses or go back to businesses, because when people who are not financially educated get money, what do? They go to Walmart, they go to Amazon, they go to Kroger, and they go spend this money. So now the people who have all the money are the corporations, the shareholders, the rich, the people that understand money. Well, now the poor and the middle class are holding on to less dollars than they did before, because these dollars have less buying power. And so now the poor are becoming poorer, because you're still working to just earn this paycheck, which doesn't stretch as far. The middle class is being wiped out, because they keep thinking, I'm earning this big paycheck, how come I'm still poor? How come I still can't afford my dream lifestyle? Because my dollars can't stretch as far. And the rich continue to become richer, because they understand financial education. They understand what they need to own. They want to own the means of production. They want to own the value creation. They don't just want to spend all their money on liabilities, fancy cars, clothes, shoes, vacations. They want to own the things that are going to make them money. And so now the middle class and the upper middle class, your high income earners, your doctors, your attorneys, your accountants, your engineers, people who went to good schools and got good degrees, your middle class and your upper middle class are now getting wiped out if they are not asset owners or shareholders or investors, because now you thought you did the right thing. You got educated, you have this good salary, but your salary doesn't buy you the lifestyle it once did, because your dollars don't stretch as far. That's why your middle class is getting wiped out, and the poor continue to get poorer, because they're working hard to earn money and save all their money, while your earnings and savings do not stretch as far, and they don't understand why the executives do not pay them more. It's because the fiduciary duty here is to these people, not to these people. This is where financial education is so important, because now you got to understand how to use your money and your resources the right way, because you want to understand how the system works. That way you can win in the system instead of being one of the people that's getting abused by the system. This system, the way it works, rewards those who are financially educated, period. Doesn't matter what your job is, or what your degree is, or where you went to school, or who your daddy is. What matters is how financially educated you are. Because when you understand how money works, and you understand how the system works, now you understand what to do with your money when you get paid. And when you know what to do with your money, that's when your money can work hard to make you more money and to make you wealthier. That way you aren't just a pawn in the system making everybody else rich. and you understand how to make yourself wealthier in this situation and in the system. That's what I want from you. I want you to be financially educated. That way you can become wealthy. That way you can take care of your family. That way you can take care of your community. Because these are things that we are not taught in school, which is why you need to go out of your way and learn to be financially educated, because no one's going to tell you this. Well, I guess we do on our YouTube channel, but this is why it's so important for you to be financially educated, because you want to stop being on the losing side of the equation, because you want to understand how the system works so you can win in the system. If you enjoyed this video, here's a video on why fake money is making Americans poorer, and while you're at it, join our free finance and business newsletter, and as always, keep hustling. But then in the 1970s, our dollar was taken off of the gold standard, so our dollars became just paper.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold.